Hey, what's going on, guys? Clayke's all back here again with my guide for the Lands of Plenty event that just dropped on Brave Exvius. Now, if you didn't know beforehand, in the pre-release of the game for the people who got in early, this event has already been launched, but you could only get up to the hard version of it, so the new Shining Splendor sword wasn't even available yet. So that's what we got new here, is the pro version of the map. And looking at this event, it's only going to run for about 3 to 4 days. That's something you definitely want to be aware of. The only thing you really need to make sure you get from this event are all the recipes and your 80 ore or however much cavern ore you want to make as many Shining Splendor weapons as you want, as the other materials besides the cavern ore can be farmed elsewhere. So that your main priority is to focus on getting that cavern ore before the event ends. And again, it's not the longest event, so be aware of that. Again, 3 to 4 days is all you have. It will be ending on Thursday at the restart time. So whatever time that is for you, whenever they normally, the server restarts, the quests restart up for you. For me, it's 4 a.m. on the eastern coast of NA. That's when it's going to restart for me, but for you, it may be different. So just remember, on Thursday, whenever the daily quest reset, that's the last time you're going to be able to get in that Lands of Plenty event. The Lands of Plenty event can be found in the Vortex. It is an exploration event, so every time you do go in the Vortex and go into that, it's just like an exploration event, an exploration quest where you'll go in and you can collect nodes, fight bosses at the very end, and leave the exploration and stuff like that. So if you scroll on down, the things you can get from this, Fine Blade, Superior Blade, and the new Shining Splendor Blade, attack plus 72, which is really strong for a non-TM weapon, just that you can get in the game. Defense plus 8 is whatever, but it's still adding to your stats, which is always nice to have something extra like that. And Inflicts Blind seems pretty sweet. This may become important down the road for bosses that may auto attack a lot. Blinding them may be amazing and help you beat, a couple of those special vortex bosses that may come out in the future. To make this Shining Splendor, though, you're going to need Superior Blade times 3, Cavern Ore times 80, Iron Ore times 80, Silver Ore times 80, and Mithril Ore times 50. Now, you may have everything but the Iron Ore already, not the Iron Ore, excuse me, the Cavern Ore already due to your farming that you've done before through your macro TM farming, or perhaps maybe just your explorations, things like that. Now, scrolling down, the way you get these recipes is on it has 4 modes. Like I said, the first 3 modes have already been released earlier in the game, but the easy mode will give you the broadsword recipe, which doesn't really matter to you because you can buy the broadswords from the first town that you actually encounter in the game. So you just go in there, go to the weapon shop, buy up your 90 broadswords you're going to need to complete all this for your one Shining Splendor sword and be done with it. When you complete the medium version, you're going to get the Fine Blade recipe, which you are going to have to make in order. You're going to have to make some fine blades in order to make the Superior Blade, which you get the recipe from doing hard mode, plus you get 100 lapis. It'd be sick if it was 1,000, but it's only 100 lapis. And then once you make 3 Superior blades, you can go into the pro mode, get your Shining Splendor recipe, and go ahead and put in your Shining Splendor sword to be made. We're going to cover the best ways to, again, like I've talked about, you can access the dungeon or the exploration in the Vortex. We're going to talk about the best ways to get Cavern Ore. The first thing I'm going to say is you can't get Cavern Ore unless you go into the pro mode. That's the only place you can get it. Cavern Ore is only given to you from the nodes. There will be a link in the description to show you where the nodes are on the pro mode map. Normally, I think there's like 3 or 4 before you fight the 3 bosses at the end in pro mode. There are 3 bosses at the very end. You fight back to back to back, and once you complete those, you walk into a new area. There are 3 nodes there for you to collect. So again, remember, you can only get Cavern Ore from the pro mode, and other than that, that's where you're going to want to be to be able to get that ore that you're going to need to make this weapon. Talking about copper ore and lumber, you may be asking, where's the best place to do that? I would recommend doing, we've talked about doing the beginner mode or easy mode of the exploration to get your lumber and your copper ore as long as the event's going on and you already have your cavern ore that you're going to need. You can go back into the easy mode and go ahead and farm that. Once the event is over, the best place in my opinion is Earth Shrine Exploration. All the nodes there will give you some lumber and some copper ore, so you can farm it up there, and that's the best place to do it. Through this video, though, I am only going to be going over the pro version of the exploration event Vortex, due to the fact that the other ones are pretty simple, and I think you guys can get through it. So without further ado, we can look over here at the right, and it shows that the Shining Splendor sword will require 90 broadswords. So remember, you can just go to that shop and buy your 90 broadswords, 480 lumber. Again, you can just farm that in the Earth Exploration if the event runs out, but after you get the Cavern Ore and you have time, go ahead and run through the easy mode. It'll give you more rank experience, some magicite, and just overall more lumber and copper ore. Copper ore 360, silver 80, iron 80, mithril 50, and then you're going to need 80 of that cavern ore to make it. And remember, cavern ore is only from this event, so be sure to grab that. So now I'm going to go over what the actual pro mode for the cavern ore is and for this exploration, and teach you guys what exactly you need to be doing on these bosses, because that's the hardest part. And also talked about the enemies, because the enemies are pretty hard in the event too. So let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to discuss is what kind of team you want to bring in to the Shining Splendor Sword Search that you're going to be going for. For my experience with these bosses, the final 2 bosses are very physical, resist. They don't take much damage, even from the nice dual-wield Barrage Shizuru I have. It's not doing that much damage. So I would recommend a 2-mage team. I'm taking Kefka and X-Death. If you have 2 Kefkas that are already beast mode up to 80 and have a bunch of equipment, I would take 2 Kefkas instead. X-Death does some damage, but not as much as the awesome abilities that Kefka brings along. I would definitely bring a healer. I'm going to bring Lina this time. As Lina's Limit Break is awesome for autoing through the rest of the dungeon, the rest of the enemies, and healing up my team, and also giving me cheer. I'm gonna bring Warrior of Light. A tank is really useful here because of the ability Provoke, which you do get from Golem. If you guys didn't know, the Esper Golem, there is a ability that you can unlock through the Esper Golem's map that gives you Provoke, which will take the boss's attention to the Warrior of Light, which should be pretty tanky for you and save the rest of your team. And then I'm also just gonna bring Machizuru because she's pretty strong. 1 physical DPS here isn't the worst thing, especially against the mobs you'll find in there, the trash mobs going to the bosses. And then as far as bringing a friend on this is concerned, I would be looking for a Kefka, no doubt. Kefka is going to be doing the most damage to most of the bosses for you, and he just does mad work with that hyperdrive ability. So that's what I would say about the team breakdown. Another thing you can look into is giving your Lina or your healer a charm bangle. I think is what it's called. Let's look here. The charm bangle itself, I don't know if it's working that well for me. I don't see much of a difference, but the charm bangle can be obtained through a quest chain that's in the, I think it's the Grand Port. Something like that. You can just look that up on the wiki if you need to, but get that charm bangle, put it on. That's what I'm putting it on my Lina to try to put down. What it does is it stops the encounter rate from going up, so you should run into less enemies. Now I don't know exactly how it works on this exploration, as I still run into tons of enemies on the pro version. So, but overall, that's what I would take. That would be my team going in if you guys can do that. And now I'm going to break down each of the bosses individually that you'll find in there and talk about the enemies a little bit too. So right now I'm going to discuss the type of enemies you're going to run into when it comes to this exploration on pro mode. There are going to be large groups of waves, this being one of the largest ones, the goblin mages and the goblins that you'll fight here. There's 5 group. There's also a 6 group of bats. These have high defense and they actually do quite a bit of damage. So you can choose to auto through it. With Lina for sure, because once she gets her limit break and you have auto limit break on, she'll heal your entire team and you'll be fine. Or you could choose yourself to go ahead and use Barrage or use, Thundaga or Fagra from one of your mages. The problem with that is in this exploration, your MP management is key. You will be running out of MP. So something I'll also say before running this dungeon is maybe you want to pick up some tents, some elixirs, some things to get your MP up, some ethers, things like that. Have them in your items because you may need them after you fight the bunch of the mobs, getting down to the bosses, and then after you fight the bosses. Because in between each boss, you do have a time where you could use a tent or possibly, use some potions, some ethers, use Lina's magic to heal your team, Asuna to get rid of poisons, things like that. So I would recommend making sure that your MP is saved. But for me right now, I'm just going to go ahead and click auto through this. And as you can see, it will take me a bit to clear these guys out, and they will do some damage to me. But as I said before, Lina's going to be able to help sustain me through her limit break. So that's the one great thing about Lina and bringing her in this exploration, is that just through her limit break, you can kind of sit back and enjoy yourself while you fight these mobs, as she's just going to heal you, because her limit break is almost up. And yeah, I'm taking some damage. I mean, Chizuru's already lost about 500 health here, but once she gets her limit break, which is this turn, she's going to heal everybody back up and boost their magic, so it's going to be fine. So again, remember, these enemies are pretty tough in here. Don't take them too lightly, because they will start killing your team members off. Okay, so the first boss you're going to run into, and I'm going to try to say this name correctly, Ambazoa. The type is aquatic. It's level 68. It has 50,000 health. MP is 250. And as you can see, it has resist to all elements but light and dark. So elements aren't going to be that effective on it, I guess, because its resist is up on that. It's null to everything across the board. If we go ahead and close this out, we can go ahead and use the full break. I'm pretty sure this enemy will take full break completely. Okay, it's resisting something, so it said resist, but if we click on here, we can see it's lowered its attack, it's lowered its defense, and it's lowered its magic. However, it did resist lowering its spirit. So it's resisted lowering its magic, magic resist, essentially, and its ability to heal. So one of the things you're going to notice about these bosses is they are going to resist a little bit of full break, but they're going to still take some of the effects. So when it says resist, don't get worried that your full break didn't do anything. It's still going to have some things that it's going to do here. So again, it's going to lower its attack, lower its defense on this first boss, and lower its magic attack, its magic damage, its magic abilities, but it's not going to actually lower its magic resist. So one of the things on this boss is it's actually pretty good to go ahead and physically damage it down with your your physical damage unit you bring with you, and also you can just use hyperdrive and still do a lot of damage. One of the things you want to watch out for with this boss is it has an ability where it's just going to take all of your MP, like Osmos, so it's going to hit you and take all of your MP. So those are the things I'd watch out for this boss. That's what Full Break does. Another thing I'm going to recommend for you guys is after using, for my example, I'm using Warrior of Light, your tank should also use Provoke, which is a great thing to use. What Provoke will do is have the enemy boss targets your tank instead of targeting your weaker units that could get hurt a lot. So that's what I'd say about this first boss, and good luck on it. It's not the hardest out of the three. It's actually quite easy, but the thing you want to look out for is its ability to take away your MP. But if you brought elixirs or ethers, things like, or a tent, you should be able to get that MP back pretty quickly. So this one's an easy one, and good luck with it. The second boss you're going to run into when doing this pro exploration is the Hill Gigas. This guy is super tanky. He's going to be pretty resistant to your physical damage attacks. He's level 70, 88,000 health, 250 MP like before. His only resistance up are 50% to stone and lightning attacks, so you can look to use elements like fire, water, ice, things like that. He can be blind, so to stop his physical attacks from coming through on his auto attacks, things like that. So if you look here, he can be blind, and that can help you out a lot if you do that. Again, we're going to go ahead and full break him and see what happens when you do full break him, because he's going to resist some of the full break also. So we go ahead and hit him with the full break. Obviously it says resist, but again guys, we can check and see what actually happened to him. On resist, he resists everything except for lowering his magic resist. So his magic isn't lowered, his physical damage, his attack isn't lowered, and his physical defense isn't lowered. However, it did lower his spirit, so that's something that Full Break will bring to you for you to do. However, you have things like Imperil, things like that I guess you could use to lower their spirit. Deshell, things like that, maybe it could be more effective, but I just wanted to show you what Full Break will happen with this guy. Again, you're going to be looking for your tank to use a Provoke on him to pull the attacks to him. Another great thing you can do is go ahead and use your Esper, save your Esper for this fight, and use the Golem Esper to buff up your whole team and allow them to be able to fight off the attacks the boss may bring to them. For this boss, you're going to want to use Kefka's Hyperdrive. Chizuru is not going to be that effective. As you can see, I'll go ahead and use my Barrage and show you guys how much damage she's actually going to do. You can see that she's only doing around 600. Another thing that you might not have noticed earlier is that he is a human, so if you use the Man-Eater, things like that, you are going to do more damage to this boss. This boss and the next boss coming up are human, so Man-Eater, you get that from Ifrit, or you already have that on your character perhaps. Cloud of Darkness is also great because she gets that ability already in her kit. So that's what I'd say about this boss. Be careful, he has a lot of health, he hits pretty hard, but with Provoke and with the correct healer like Lena, you can get through it pretty okay, guys. It's going to be tougher than most of the things you have fought in the past, but with using the right abilities and being prepared for the fight should get you through this one. And the final boss of this exploration is going to be the Ogre. He's level 72. He's also a human, so remember, Man Killer will work on him pretty well. He has 98,000 health, a whopping 98,000 health. He, like the other boss before him, is resist to lightning and stone attacks. They have a 50% resist, so you're going to want to use fire, blizzard, things like that. He's null to everything across the board except for blind. However, this time this guy has a 20% blind up resist, so he's going to be 20% more resist to blind. However, if you need to, you can blind him if need be. Again, you're going to want to use magic attacks on him just like the boss beforehand. He's going to take a little bit more to get down, but if you use the strategy of using Provoke, using Cheer, using Hyperdrive, Man-Eater, and overall just you could use Full Break on him too. Now he's going to resist some of the Full Break. We'll go ahead and use Full Break on him and show you guys what he resists off the Full Break. So he's going to say resist, and it looks like he completely resisted all of Full Break. So I don't know if that's the normal case, honestly, but it looks like he just said no Full Break for me today. You can't Full Break me. So he's going to resist all of Full Break. You're just going to have to take him down, and that's why Hyperdrive is so good, as it ignores the a little bit of his SPR anyway and does some damage there. Remember to use your Man-Eater, so we can go to Chizuru here. I think she has the Man-Eater on her already due to the fact that she has the Ifrit's passive on her. And you're just gonna try to take this boss out, guys. Remember to use Provoke. Remember to use your Golem Esper to buff up your team. Remember that Lena, her Limit Break will boost up your health and then also boost up your magic damage, which is really awesome. And just get in there, guys, and try to beat this guy down. He's going to be a little tough for you, but I think through what you know now from this video, using this strategy, most people can go ahead and take him down. Okay guys, before completing this boss right here, one of the things I just tried out was using Imperil and then Deshell with my 2 different mages here, and that does work. It looks like he's just resistant to the move Full Break. As you can see, after using Imperil and then Deshell lowered his magic, and then you know, Imperil lowered his resist to all elements here. So if you guys need to, you can take a turn off and go and lower his defenses down to do even more damage to him. So I wanted to make sure I put that in here, because from my understanding is that when you use Full Break, if he resisted, then he's just going to not be able to have his stuff lowered at all. But it would appear that he's just resistant to the move Full Break, as opposed to we're using Deshell here and it's still lowering his magic, which I thought Full Break would do, but apparently not. So be aware of that, guys, maybe for bosses in the future too. Be on the lookout. I'm not sure if it was just a random happenstance that the Full Break was resistant or things like that. We can actually try that out right now. You know, we can go and use Cheer here, and use Chizuru too. I think I already had Barrage on her, but it would appear that maybe the boss is just resistant to a certain ability, which I had no idea they could be. So perhaps it was just a Full Break there that he's resistant to. I'm gonna go ahead and Full Break him again on video now, just so I don't have to make another clip cut into it. Wait for this Chizuru's Barrage to be over, and see, you can see how hard he hits right here. He almost took out my Lena, but I'm gonna go ahead and just chance it here and go ahead and use Full Break again, just for science, and see what happens. So we're gonna use it. It says resist, and then we're gonna check him again and see if he lowered anything else. No, it didn't. So it looks like he's just resist to the Full Break ability, and actually to all components of the full, unlike the other bosses who were resist to certain other aspects of the Full Break ability. So keep that in mind, guys. You can use Imperil and Shell on him. Alright guys, to conclude this video, I wanted to show my results page of the run I just did. As you can see, you still get some copper ore. Cavern ore on average is anywhere from 13 to 16, I think, at most. So you're going to have to run around 7 to 8 times to be able to get your sword, which isn't that much. I thought it was going to be way more grinding. I guess the grinding is coming from the copper ore, the lumber, and actually waiting on your swords to develop and to be made in the forge. Just remember, guys, you don't have to rush and make the swords as fast as possible. That can all take time after the event is over. The rush is to get the cavern ore, which really isn't that big of a rush. You have 4 days to run it 7 to 8 times just to get one. Now, if you want to get more than that, and you're going to obviously have to run more than that and get more cavern ore. But the more cavern ore you have saved up in the bank, the more you can make, more swords you can make down the road. So remember, the cavern ore is your #1 thing you want to be worried about. Also, you can get Mega Crystal in here. I haven't got anything besides Water Mega Crystal from my runs, but I have only ran it like 3 times, so I'm not sure on that. Also, if I didn't say before, you can run into Mini Tuar and the mini, like, what are the Guild Snappers. You can run into Mini Tuars and Guild Snappers in here, which make it pretty cool. That makes it awesome too. And so overall, guys, if I missed anything, please comment down below and let me know. I know I've been rambling on for a while, so I want to go ahead and get this video out there for you guys. Give a thumbs up and a like if this video helped you out, and subscribe for future content. And remember, guys, that your espers are actually coming into play here. So get those espers leveled up, give them some Magicite, and get them equipped to your tanks and your DPS dealers, or your damage dealers, excuse me. Because that's going to be important in the future and going on from this event. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later. Bad guy from Final Fantasy VI. The things you want to know about Kefka is right now he is the #1 mage. In the future, he has some future proofing because he does get a 6-star. Now, he isn't the best mage comparably to the other top tier mages in the Japanese version of the game. But now, for now, on global, and he does get a 6-star, so he's not going to be that bad in the future. He does have some future proofing. Right now, on global, he's the best, and I'll tell you why. 1, he has hyperdrive. And hyperdrive, we're going to go ahead and scroll down. We're going to skip straight